Hello, you saw my still life online. Now you get a chance to see my lips move. Aren't you lucky? Anyway, my name is Bob Weiss. I'm going to tell you about the meaning of language. It's conveyed actually through particular grammars in context, not by grammar rules that you memorize and jar your head with in high school or college. So if you have that, you've been misled, and I have to tell you that categorically because I've experienced the difference. Now basically, there are no real rules that you could teach somebody to understand the way people speak in context in everyday situations. If you try that, you're going to go insane. Trust me. Anyway, for example, when I was in Germany, I had spoken German quite a bit in my year or so of actually living there. And one of the things that I discovered, one time I watched TV, and I saw I think it was an English teacher trying to teach Germans and other Europeans American business English. And from a German perspective, all of a sudden I could see how difficult it would be for somebody who was a German or a European to actually understand if they approached it from memorizing grammar rules, because there was absolutely no way you could do that. Every context, every situation was different, and people spoke in ways that defied description. And of course, you know, other languages that you learn are similar in different ways. If you try to memorize a lot of rules, you're going to rack your head and go nuts. So rather than doing that, one of the things that I had to find out when I lived in Germany is that I had to stop memorizing grammar rules like I was taught to do in 3.5 years of college German, and applying those to every language listening situation that I had, and listening in response, and start listening to the way people actually talk and think. So I listened, and I also looked, and I perceived. Then eventually I started reading a lot of newspapers. Of course, read a Bible lesson every day in German, and also lived in a German household. You know, we stayed with as guests with a host family that my ex-wife knew, of course. And that's what did it. Eventually, when I knew how things were said, I started talking later. I did a whole lot more listening in the beginning. And that's how Learnables actually works. It's exactly the same way I learned German when I was in Germany as an American. And to this day, I can speak like a native German because I listened to him, and I changed the way that I hear and think in German, rather than just assume that I memorize it and I can spit it out and just get it out like that. That does not work. Many of you may already know that. If you don't, it's a shocker. Trust me. So I just wanted to let you know that that's how I really came into the Learnables program. I ran into a gentleman who is a semi-retired professor here. He's been running this program primarily for homeschoolers since 1976, and he's done a marvelous job in the homeschool market. However, right now, I'm sure a lot of people around the world would be interested in finding something like this, because many of you out there have been taught, just like I did in school, memorizing grammar, and in some ways rebelling against that. It's just not teaching you how to really speak or think another person's language. And if you learn that way, you're open to misinterpretations, and so that's where you really need to watch out. And so some people have just given up the language learning process entirely because it's just too burdensome, and that has a lot to do with it. The idea that you're memorizing rather than learning how to think in a language. And basically that's how the Learnables system works. It teaches you thoroughly to think in a language, to hear and listen the way native people speak. So if you want to learn more about how to think in another language, talk the way people actually talk in conversation, not some abstract sentences from a textbook, click to the little red tab just to the right of my video here, and basically you can start getting free blogs, videos, newsletters, question and answers. You can submit a question if you have a question about trouble you might be having in learning another language, including English, whatever it is, and Dr. Winitz will answer, or will try to answer your questions. And of course, we also have 20% off or certain percentage off discount coupons available for you as well, if some of you are interested in learning to think in a language and speak the way people actually speak. But first I want to be sure to give you some information, so that way you'll know basically how you've missed having fun with language all these years, or it's very difficult. Now you know why. I had to learn the hard way myself. So again, please be sure to either click on the red tab or click on the Start Here button at the bottom of the video. And again, the idea, it's a free club where you get information of all kinds. It's going to be in English, and if you want it in Portuguese, of course, I've got a Portuguese page, as Edelweiss Productions in Portuguese, and any other language. I'll probably be doing other languages here very shortly. So I look forward to having you in my club, and I'd like to have you come aboard with me and experience language in a way that doesn't take work. It's not, as I say in Spanish, it's not negocio, it's ocio, which means pleasure. So I hope to see you aboard with me, and just click on the tab below where it says Start Here, and I'll see you in our free club. And you have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, whatever time you're listening to this. Have a great time, and we'll see you soon. Bye.